Hello everyone. Today we have another student, Dr. Tanya Tandon, who is sharing her journey with us. And the interesting part of this journey is that she matched with a lot of home country experience and without USC. So she did only telerotation. So we want to understand how she went about it in this era of pandemic. So welcome, Tanya. Glad to have you.
Thank you so much, sir. And I am honored to be here. Thank you so much for this opportunity. I would love to share my experience with everyone.
Thank you. So let's start with your journey. Walk us through, your year of graduation and how you planned your USMLE.
So, coming to the latter part of your question, starting my USMLE journey, I was oriented to the fact that I wanted to go and study in the USA for a multiple number of reasons. But I started my proper focus study during the initial months of my internship period here in India. And step one, I was able to give only after my internship got over because I had to juggle with the strenuous internship curriculum along with studying for step one, which is a highly pressured exam. So after giving step one, I had already pre-planned my electives with the Sarthi group as well, getting guidance from you every step of the way. So I was about to fly for my electives the very next month, but the pandemic hit. So at the time, there was a lot of pressure, a lot of anxiety, but I was very well guided through the process. I was boosted at every step by the team to just go for everything by a proper planned way that we had already planned before. Even though we did not have the chance to go for electives, they were getting deferred every month. So at the time, I focused my attention on getting more research during the pandemic years, which was completely from home because of course we couldn't go out. During the same time, I was guided to give my step 2 as soon as possible, and that accelerated my timeline and it worked in my favor very well. So pandemic was like my year. I was able to sit for this math season easily. And I was guided so well that I could get all of these things in my application before I could apply for the season. So my application was made stronger, with the pandemic. So that was something which was very good. During the pandemic, I was able to get enough focused study for my step 2, and I was able to give it within, I think, a gap of 4 to 5 months from my step 1. So after doing that, then I went into the process of doing my LORs through the telemedicine rotations, like you mentioned, because I had absolutely no on-site rotations left. Everything was deferred for the next year. And I wanted to sit for this math cycle because I had my steps completed. Also, with the CS exam that was cancelled, that worked in our favor. Though we had to study for a very different exam, OAT, we were guided very well for that as well. The resources that we could see, the material we could refer to. So all of that, juggling everything at multiple fronts, that was an amazing experience, very unique, but it was fun as well. So I was able to sit for this math cycle. So that was my entire journey throughout.
Good. So let's talk about the importance of telemedicine first. So since you couldn't do the on-site rotations, so you did telemedicine. So how was your experience in terms of the didactics, in terms of patient interaction, because you did a couple of them. So how was your experience, and what should students who may be doing telerotation from now on, what should they be looking for?
Okay, so that's a very interesting question actually. And like I said before, this entire process was through Sarthi. I was able to go on the website, search the rotations that were catering to my needs. There was everything explained on site, what would be the didactics. And I have to say that whatever was written on the site was exactly what I experienced in my rotations. So I was able to do two telemedicine rotations in a 1 month period. So I had one slot, which was early in the morning, that was India time, and one late at night. So I did one medicine and one pediatric rotation to boost my application further. And telemedicine rotation was something which captivated the eyes of all the interviewers because I was asked about my telemedicine experience in every interview. There wasn't even one where somebody did not ask me about it. So in this season, and I'm very sure even in the next, the PDs, the interviewers will be very well oriented to the fact that on-site is not possible because of travel issues and everything around COVID. So telemedicine works a lot in our favor. So my rotations were so amazing that my attendings are people I'm still in touch with. I can ask them for advice. I can go up to them and ask them about programs, how their perception is towards it while I'm making my ranking list. So it was a beautiful experience. I learned a lot. There was patient interaction. I had a few patients that came online. We were given records of the patients, and then we were asked to make differential diagnosis along the way, guided. There were group discussions, group presentations, grand round style presentations. So all of that worked in our favor. So we also had a class on how to do electronic records, which is not very, it is not a very big thing here in India because it is privatized and every system is different. But we got an insight into one central system there, eClinical Works. So that was something that was amazing. We had a separate class on it. We were taught every feature, how to put in records, how to go about it further, how to keep follow-ups. So everything in telemedicine rotation is exactly what I feel we would have seen on the non-site rotation as well. So it worked very well. I had all my interviewers and all my PDs also asking me about the same, how my experience was. And then they asked me about any interesting cases I had. So I could elaborate very well on that.
Okay. Okay. So just let me take a step back because I think we didn't discuss. So you pre-matched in pediatrics as a recent graduate. What drove you to pediatrics? Why pediatrics?
So, well, pediatrics, a lot of people have asked me this question, and the first thing that comes to my mind is why anything besides pediatrics? Because ever since I started my MBBS journey, I have been inclined towards it. It keeps the child within me alive all the time. It is a beautiful line to be in. I get the high fives and the smiles from my patients once we are done with the examination, and that keeps me motivated and boosted. So, my satisfaction at the end of the day is something which is very important to me. And I think the smile that I go back with after doing a rotation in pediatrics is something that I want for the rest of my life. So pediatrics has always been the line that I've wanted to do since the beginning.
Okay. All right. So the other important component of your profile and your application was the home country experience. So talk us through the home country experience, the COVID experience, a very rigorous experience you got, and how you utilize this in the interviews.
So, well, I was a very recent graduate, and the one thing that Sarthi team and so you as well focused on was that during this pandemic year, it is an unprecedented time. So, one thing that would work in my favor, and I was guided very well by you and the team, was that I needed home country experience because this was one common topic that the entire world was going through, which we could discuss, compare, and contrast our experiences. So at the time when I came to you and I approached you, I was in a dilemma as to should I be going for more telemedicine rotations or should I be doing home country experience? So I was guided very well to concentrate on both. So I was able to do the telemedicine and my home country experience, and that worked. I don't know how to express it in words, but that worked a lot in my favor. Every interview, I was able to mention my experience in COVID, and we had a lengthy discussion, at least 10 minutes in every interview. I had a proper discussion on everything related to COVID, from the protocols in my country to how the situation regarding PPE kits and masks were, to what cases I have seen, how the trends have been in my country. It was an absolute rigorous interview because they wanted to know how I was dealing with it, what my position was, where I was working. So it gave me a common ground to talk to absolutely every interviewer because they had experienced it as well in their country. We also had a very amazing discussion related to how the protocols were there, how they were managing cases here, how the government's perception was, how the patients were taking it, and how the population was reacting to it. So all in all, it was an amazing experience having home country in my pocket because this year being unprecedented, this was what I was banking upon, and it worked amazingly in my favor. So thank you to the Sarthi team for guiding me through this and pushing me to actually go and get more experience in it. So I would suggest that anyone who's going for the next application season should definitely have this in their pocket because COVID is not going anywhere anytime soon.
Okay. So now let's switch gears and talk about your application preparation and interview preparation. So how did you go about it? How did you utilize our classes? What was that like?
So first of all, I always wanted to join Sarthi because I have seen the success rate, the match rate. Graduates who've been very old have also matched so easily in application cycles. So there was no doubt in my mind that I had to do this all on my own because I had a lot of guidance and help from the Sarthi team. So thank you so much, first of all, for that. And when we come to the preparation, it was on point. So everything that Sarthi tells you is absolute truth. So take it as your Bible and go through it. Don't try to fight it, because whatever feedback you get is the true feedback that you will find when you go through the application season itself. So when it comes to your PS, when it comes to your CV, so you have to take all the input and try to work on it to make yourself better. And that is what I try to do on every step. And you have everyone to help you. You can approach absolutely anybody in the team to get more guidance and to get more feedback as to how to enhance your application. And I actually attended every class, even though it was pre-recorded or I couldn't take the online session when it was happening live. I made it very sure that I attend every class. When it comes to the interview preparation, it was excellent because a lot of questions that we pre-prepared in those classes were asked to us during our interview season. So we were very confident while presenting ourselves. Our communication skills were worked on, our confidence was worked on, our presentation was worked on. And as everything was very virtual, so the Sarthi team's interview preparation helped and boosted our appearance and us as an applicant very well in the interviews as well. So when it came to our LORs and when it came to our application itself, how to go about the process, what to do, how to apply, all that help also I got. So all in all, I was there every step of the way. I attended every class. I did not miss anything. So it worked a lot for me, actually. I was able to sit in this application cycle and match as a recent 2020 graduate. So I'm very thankful.
Then let's look back on your journey, and if you were to change anything, whether it is the timeline for preparation or anything else, would you do any changes or anything differently?
Well, that's an interesting thought. So if I reflect back on that, I wasn't an applicant. I wasn't very sure if I would have been able to sit for this math cycle. But with COVID and the pandemic and a lockdown, my entire timeline got accelerated and I was boosted every step of the way. I was given proper guidance every step of the way. And I was encouraged actually to sit for this math cycle. So I think being with Sarthi worked in my favor a lot. And I was actually able to get everything done, get certified before my application date, sit for the interviews. I got a bunch of interviews and I could match. So I don't think I would like to change any of that, because my guidance and my journey, though very unique and unprecedented for a USMLE applicant, it actually worked a lot in my favor.
Okay, so one question which the audience may be very curious about is, you got a pre-match, but you had many other interviews. So what factors did you consider as you were evaluating and then decided to take the pre-match?
So that is an interesting question, and definitely everybody would have a different perspective towards it. But in my journey, the one thing that was very important to me is family. So the pre-match offer that I got is very near to where my family lives. And so the location mattered a lot to me, because I am a person who doesn't want to stay alone all the time, and I can easily go to my family's place for festivals and everything else. So that was one of the major deciding factors that made me take the offer as soon as it was given to me. Also, another factor was that during the pandemic 2020 year, everything, the math cycle was very unprecedented, because what we had seen from previous trends as an applicant in this process, we saw less number of interviews were being given. Though I was at the fortunate end that I got a lot of other interviews also, I did not want to take a chance. So the location and the year that I was applying to made a very big impact on me through this journey. So those were the two major factors why I wanted to take this pre-match offer.
Okay. Now, what would your message be to students who may be in their internships or, starting the USMLE prep, or those who may be ready to apply next season? What would you tell them to prioritize and do? So let's start with people who may be in their internship. What would your message be to them?
Well, actually, going through the entire math cycle, I found one thing is that anybody who's in their internship period should definitely find a passion or a hobby as soon as possible, because you have to find something that is very unique to you. So, for example, in my journey, I was able to start my own YouTube channel, which
Oh,
was an informal platform, but I
okay.
could actually tell people that I have this. They actually saw it and they commented on it and they liked it. So, something which is unique to you, it's not just any platform. You can have absolutely anything in this world that is unique to you. So, definitely find that, nurture it, and you can showcase it to people. If it is unique, they will remember you through it. So, if you're in an internship, or even if you want to go for the next math cycle, think upon it so that you can present something which is different from the other applicants. So that would be one major advice to everyone who's watching.
Okay. And in terms of just the timeline and other things for, say, the students, how would you recommend they prioritize their USMLE preparation?
So definitely start as early as possible, but have somebody who can guide you through the journey, because USMLE is a very tough exam. Every step is tougher than the next. So you need someone who can guide you very well through the process. You need someone you can contact at any time in the day to ask a question, and you can get it solved within minutes. You don't have to go through an era of researching just for a simple answer. So I believe that join Sarthi, that would be like the best advice I could give anyone who's watching, because you get guided through the entire process. There's a lot of experience, amazing mentors. The team is amazing when it comes to application, comes to your journey, comes to your exams, everything is catered to. So that definitely would be something I would ask people to do.
Okay. All right. Well, this was very, very helpful. Thank you very much and good luck for your journey.
Thank you so much, sir. And I hope and pray that everything works out for everyone else who's watching. And thank you so much for the guidance that you've provided me throughout my journey.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.